here today with Andrew Bonsey. Andrew is an exercise physiologist and a rehabilitation specialist. Hi Andrew.
Hi Sherry.
Thanks for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So Andrew is going to talk to us today about ergonomics at home and how you might set up your desk if you've just been thrust into that at-home office.
Oh, thanks Sherry. Yes, look, a lot of people have been asked to go home and work, and to be able to set up a workstation at home is not always easy, and there's lots of different things to think about. So if we can perhaps go through a few ideas and to make, I guess, the best possible situation work for you at home.
That'd be great.
So I guess, Sherry, the place to start is actually just looking at what you have. So for you here working at home, I guess what you've got is, your desk, a chair. It's probably not as good a desk or a chair as you might have at work all set up for you. So let's go around and let's see what we have and then what we can do about making it as good as possible. Right. The first one, we might start with a chair. If you look at this chair, it's not nice, it doesn't go up and down, it hasn't got a nice soft seat. If you're working in a place where you're going to be spending a long time, we want to make it as comfortable as possible. And seats tend to, in a workplace, be nice and flat, but chairs and things we have at home are often a little bit tilted back. So we probably want to get something like you might find a towel or something at home, and you might be able to use to put on what we call the seat pan, the base of the chair, to kind of help, I guess, tilt that up and get it back to level. So that'd be our first place to start. This chair actually is quite good. It actually has a nice curve in it, but many chairs you'll have at home won't have that curve. And so often what I'll get people to do is just to roll up a towel, again something simple like that, to be able to put in the small of their low back to give them that little bit of extra support as well. So as you can see, actually that's looking quite good now. From this angle, looks quite good. You've got nice support at the back, so we don't need to worry about anything there as far as a support for your back is concerned. But what we do notice is that there's no support for the upper back. And so in normal chairs, again, you'll have that extra support for your upper back as well. So if you start to find yourself slouching, one is you might not be able to do anything about it. You might just have to be aware that you have to move more regularly. But you also may want to just put in a little bit of extra something at the back here, just to give yourself a little bit of extra support. Just gives you that little bit of awareness and a little bit of support for your upper back. So just thinking it from that way instead of have it horizontal.
Amazing what a difference that makes.
Just a little easy trick, that one. Yeah. I'm looking here at your feet, and I can see that your feet actually don't touch the ground, with all due respect. So when we're doing workstation setups, we tend to work from the ground up. So we're looking at what you're doing on the ground. So as you see, your toes are only touching. So I'm going to bring across a little box. You could use anything at home. You could use, a couple of books or anything like that. But I'm just going to use this nice box and pop that underneath there for you. Yep. And so that's setting up in a better position. So then we're working our way up. Now what may happen for some people is that now their knees might be higher than their hips. So we've got to make another adjustment again. So instead of just having one towel there, you're pretty level. Maybe we could just put another towel though, ordinarily underneath you, just to give you that bit of extra support. So that would be another way of building it up. Now we're on our way up, we're going to look at what your forearms are doing. So there's a couple of points to this. Firstly, again, forget about what the computer's doing right now. We're just looking at the table compared to your setup. What we want to do is have your forearms on the horizontal. So when your arms are resting on the table, we don't want them sitting up or this way, you're having to reach up. So you're quite good there, actually. That's nice and horizontal for you there. And the other thing we talk about...
So we don't want them here or...
Exactly, yeah. We want it nice and relaxed, and also the wrists nice and straight as well. We don't want you having to kind of be up like this or having to reach up high if you're too low in the chairs compared to the desk. That looks really good. The other aspect of what your forearms are doing is how much you have to reach. So at the moment, you're having to reach forward there a little bit. We describe it like this. Basically, you should be able to do everything with your elbows on your ribs. So at the moment, you probably wouldn't be able to reach the keyboard all the way there if we were looking at that. So we'd probably tend to want to move you in a little bit closer there. That's it. And so pretty much your upper arms are hanging straight down, elbows at 90, and again, the forearms on the horizontal. So the next thing we're going to look at is working with a laptop. Again, a lot of people probably have laptops already. They've been taking them home and working in bits and pieces anyway. But that might be okay for 15 minutes of emailing or something. But when you're looking at something for a long period of time, hours at a time, I think we've got to do a bit better than just sitting at the desk with the laptop. So ideally what we're trying to do is to get people to actually get another keyboard so they can again have their arms, as we've talked about, in the right position, and then getting the laptop screen away, because actually what we're looking for is about 60 centimetres from your eyes. So if this was up on the horizontal, we'd really want that out here somewhere. So 2 30 centimetre ruler lengths away from your eyes. So you kind of can't do that and have your hands in the right position at the same time as well. So what we would do, of course, is we'd get the keyboard, hook that in, have that in place. But then we'd also be looking at how we can build up this computer to get it to a good height, to be able to, have it so it's actually your eyes are on the horizontal. You want to be able to have your eyes come out on the horizontal here and not having to look down. It's that long protracted periods of looking down that really can make the neck very sore and the shoulders get very stiff. So Sherry, this is what we can do. We can take a box and see whether we can't build up the height of this laptop a little bit for you. See, now that we look at your eyes, basically it's coming down to about this, 4 or 5 centimetres below the top of the screen, and that's what we're looking for. A lot of people will keep their cursor up there, and that's what we want you to do. So kind of keeping the eyes on the horizontal with that, a few centimetres down from the top. So now that's actually.
So could I just ask you, if you didn't have access to a keyboard and you're quarantined at home, you could only use your laptop.
Yeah,
what would you do then?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, if we just take it back, we'll come back and take that box away.
Yep.
I always tell people you become the position you hold. So in the end, if you'll be working on the laptop, you'll be in here closer, you'll be working on it like that. Yep. You'll tend to become, a little bit stiffer in the neck and the shoulders. You'll be rounding out a little bit more. So in that case, we have to take a lot more breaks. We'll have to be able to do a number of different exercises to really keep your body mobile. Yeah. And much of it is actually doing the opposite of what position you're already in. So if you're in like this position, yeah, we'll do exactly the opposite. Actually, we'll do things like stretching out the chest. I get to tell people to pretend like they're going over the high jump bar, for example. So stretching all these throat muscles out that get really tight. Yep. So not letting your neck collapse, but kind of reach back. And then basically the best exercise of all I've found, I call them bow and arrows. So what I'm going to get you to do is pretending you're firing a bow and arrow. So I want you to stretch out with one arm like that, pull back, and really rotate your body as well, really twist, and then go back the other way. So you're doing that. And if you do 20 of those, you'll really find yourself sitting back up and tall in the chair. Those muscles between your shoulder blades are designed to be used for twisting. They don't want to be held in long positions like this for long periods of time. So if you can actually give it that movement 20 times on each side, maybe even every 15 minutes, you'll find that those muscles will be happier and the neck and shoulder muscles will be much more relaxed as well. So
Andrew, are there any other considerations we need to be thinking about?
Absolutely. I think it's really important too to think about making your working environment really nice. You might be taking over an old bedroom or a study that you haven't used very much. You're going to be spending a lot of time here now, and so let's actually set it up and make it look really nice. Take a bit of time to maybe declutter everything a little bit. Make it so it's not so busy, so you can have it so you've got it set out how you want it. And really make it a pleasant place to be. Think about the lighting. Yep. Think about airflow, maybe having a window that can be open and you can get some airflow coming through. Also think about the things you have around. Maybe you have everything organised, you have everything in place where you want it to be. Think about also sunlight. So you don't want glare hitting the screen of your computer, so you might want to orient your table in a certain direction as well. So those are some other considerations you might want to take on.
So Andrew, a lot of people that are now at home probably have standing desks and are used to those at work. How could we actually create a standing desk at home?
That's a really good question. I've been a big advocate of standing desks for a very long time. I think it's a great initiative, and so obviously we need to kind of build up the height of the table to get it to the height we need, and that basically means the same thing as you had with the forearms horizontal. We need to get that table up by any means you can safely, to have those forearms on the horizontal again. So you'd be standing up, and in this case you'd be standing up, you'll have for me, the desk height would be all the way up here. So it's going to take quite a bit of building up.
And mine's only going to be here.
Yep, so you see quite a difference there between us. And so it's about finding safe objects you could use to build up a table to get up to that height.
Yep.
I really think
large books and
large books, make sure it's nice and level, and make sure you want to use big structures underneath, not just little structures that will be flimsy or could fall over. So it's important to keep it safe as well. But you want to get it up to the same height as we did with the forearms on the horizontal, and then again stacking the computer up from there. Yeah, sure.
So obviously I'd need
So that would be actually quite good for you in a standing position as far as the forearms were concerned, and then obviously that would be okay for the laptop as well, we talked about before. But then if we could get, ideally we'd have that monitor up there and we could have you looking on, again on the eyes on the horizontal.
So even a second box kind of up here.
Yeah. Now some of the logistical issues here are, of course, that you don't have any room to write anything here sometimes, and so you really need to make sure that if you do have a setup like this, you can also move to the side here and do some writing with your with your pad or whatever there, and so that you kind of just don't try and squeeze it in there. So try and make yourself come over here.
So another box here, for instance.
Exactly, and the idea, of course, is that actually the beauty of standing is you are moving around. A lot of people I've worked with actually feel more efficient when they're standing, so they kind of they're not kind of stuck in their chair, so they can move around a bit more. And you might like to know you actually burn 15% more calories standing than sitting. So it's a great idea if you can do it. And so so be prepared to move around. Have your workstation there with a computer. Come over here and do some writing there with your pad as well. Another thing you can do, Sherry, if you like, is if you are going to be sitting at your workstation, is that when menial tasks come along, like a phone call comes or something like that, actually make sure you stand up and walk around and take that call. Yeah. That's a great way for you to get movement and basically just get you up and about. So I'd make that another recommendation for you as well.
Yeah, and even you could sort of use that phone time as a time to do some little calf pumps and just any kind of movement exercise and make that a habit.
Absolutely, that's a great habit to establish. Yep.
Thanks for coming in today, Andrew, and thanks for some great information. I'm sure people would have got a lot out of it.
Oh, thanks, Shira. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching today. We'll see you next time.